everyone, it's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and I'm glad that you joined me today. I have my coffee because I have learned at 56 years old to drink coffee. That's right. Go ahead and laugh at me. I've spent my whole life admiring the smell of it, thinking that it smells absolutely wonderful, thinking I am a grown woman, I should like coffee, and keep trying it and not liking it. But I had a friend give me really good advice. She said, start out with the creamer, the whipped cream, the sugar, and then stop putting the sugar in, stop putting the whipped cream in, and before long, all you need is creamer and coffee. And so I have graduated to only creamer and coffee, and I'm so proud of myself. But anyway, on with the video today. Today we are going to talk about waste not, want not, and how to get to that level in your life where that actually makes sense and feels like it's something that you can live with and maybe even desire. So let's get started. If you are in a hole, stop digging. That is like the first step and the first advice that you can give yourself. If you are in debt with money, stop digging that hole. Stop making it worse on yourself. So let's talk about how we can get into that mindset that this is a great idea and not a tough idea for us. Back in 1972, Stanford did a marshmallow test. They did it with preschoolers, and they sat them in a room and gave them a giant marshmallow and said, don't eat this. If you eat it, it's okay. But if you don't eat it, we'll give you a second marshmallow and then you'll have two. And what were they doing? They were teaching the children delayed gratification. They were teaching them to wait and not use up that marshmallow. And if they didn't use up that marshmallow, they would have more marshmallow later and get a bigger reward for saving that marshmallow. And isn't that kind of what we are doing when we're frugal? We're saving up that money to use it for something we want more, or saving up that money for some security so that we'll have it later. We spend our money differently than we normally would, or maybe the way society normally would. And that's what delayed gratification and being frugal is all about. You have to move from a compulsive nature to a conscious choice nature. Instead of just compulsively snapping on that thing that says Amazon and deliver in 2 days, you have to make a conscious choice as to whether you really need it bad enough. And as you're going through your house and decluttering like I am, I can go through things and realize I really don't need anything else to add to my agenda around here. I have a full agenda of things that I need to sort through, and I really don't need to add to that. So unless it's something I desperately need, we just don't bring things into the house, because I know that it adds to the overwhelm of the things that I'm trying to go through. And maybe you are at that point, or maybe you haven't realized that point yet of how much stuff you actually have already. So finding that contentment with the things that you already have, like that one marshmallow, will keep you from buying more so that you can end up with that second marshmallow in the end. The more that you feed, the more it grows. There's an old Indian tale about how an Indian tells his grandson to either feed the wolf or to feed the man. And I know I don't have this quite right, but he talks about how if you feed the wolf and you feed the anger, that's what grows. But if you feed the soft nature of yourself, that's what grows. So whatever you feed grows. So if you think about that, if you feed into that compulsion and you feed into that buying nature and spending nature, that compulsion will grow. That will become normal for you. And then that's what becomes of your life, is you maybe end up in debt because you do have that compulsive nature and that tendency to buy things that you see and get them when you want them. But if you feed into that other nature, that saving nature, that waiting for that second marshmallow nature, then that is what will grow. That frugal sense will grow, and your frugal strength will grow, and your ability to sustain from buying things unless you really need them, that will grow as well. So this test was really about self-control. It was about using the self-control that you have in you to sustain from getting something now or having more of something later. As they studied these children over time, that the kids that were able to wait for that second marshmallow actually had better SAT scores. They actually ended up with better body mass index. They actually became more successful in life because they were able to critically examine things for what the worth really was for that object before they pursued that object in life. So delayed gratification, if you put it down into simple terms, the best way to put it is you just don't need everything right now. Everything isn't what makes us happy. Finding contentment in our life and finding other ways to be happy is what really makes us happy. So if you find yourself with expensive tastes on a shoestring budget, maybe start there. Think about that marshmallow test. Think about the compulsive nature that maybe you possess. Think about how to make yourself have a conscious choice to not do the things that you're doing that are making you in a bigger hole. Sometimes it helps just to have time alone. I find time alone helps you really examine your goals and determine what you really want out of life. Make a list of what you really want and then choose that list over that compulsion. Choose that list and start tackling the things on that list so that you can have what you really desire. It helps you become more self-aware. It motivates you to your real desires, and it helps you self-regulate those compulsions and that behavior to meet your goals. And then maybe you can find that self-motivation, which is that force in us that helps drive us to meet the goals that we really want. And then again, have grace for your mistakes. We're going to mess up. We're going to have days that maybe we just had to buy something that was not on our budget. Maybe if it was just a Starbucks, we had to have something that day just to get through the day. And have grace for yourself when that happens. And just be careful that it doesn't become a compulsive behavior or a habit or something that you're doing every day. Somebody once said that a treat is not a treat if you have it every day. Wise words were never spoken. That is very, very true. Treats are once in a while. They're not an everyday habit type of situation. So learn from these kids for your success. If you plant the seed of self-control and plant the seed of self-awareness, something beautiful will grow. And you will find that contentment with what you have. And you will find a path to be able to live more frugally so that you can save money for the things that really matter to you. Use that vision, use that perception of what you want, and make it your reality. I hope this has helped today, and thank you for watching, and you have a great week.